Hi everyone. Today we are going to do with extra questions with respect to coordinate geometry. So far, we have done the introduction to coordinate geometry where we did questions based on NCERT. And then we had done all the MCQs from NCERT Exemplar. At that time, I told that soon we will be doing extra questions because these are also very important to understand that what sort of more than one markers can actually come from this chapter, right? So let's begin. The first question says, draw the lines x dash ox and y dash as axes on a plane of a graph paper and plot the points given below. So basically what they want in this particular question is that we should be drawing the Cartesian plane and then plotting these points. Okay. I have not done anything with respect to this because I wanted to teach actually that when we draw the Cartesian plane, what all should we take care of? Okay. So let's do that. So first we are going to make x-axis and then we will be doing y-axis. Y-axis means we are talking about the vertical line, right? So here we have got the Cartesian plane. Now, what you need to take care over here is you have to put arrows in all the four directions because the arrows represent that it can extend to any of these directions. The intersection point is marked as origin. The arrows also need to be marked. Do not leave that unmarked because teachers will certainly deduct marks over here. This on the right side, it's going to be x. On the left, it's going to be x dash. On top, y. And on bottom, it's y dash. Okay, now we are done with the main Cartesian plane. Now we need to plot the points. Look at the points that are given over here in the question. It's 5, 3, 3, minus 3, 2, minus 5, minus 4, 2, and minus 6. So that actually means we need to extend the points up starting from 0, few positives and few negatives, not going up to major detail. So let's quickly mark them. And if you do this on the graph paper, you can easily mark them being equidistant. Okay, that is very important actually. So it is 1. I'm roughly taking them to be equidistant. And similarly on the negative side, okay, now on the sides of y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. Right? Now, we are done with everything with respect to making the Cartesian plane. And we have made x dash ox and y dash. Right? So let's start with plotting the points. The first point is 5, 3. So it's always that x comes first, right? So 5 is over here and then 3 is over here. So what we need to do, we have to join them like this and it comes out to be A, and we will write 5, 3 over here and you will highlight that point. Okay. This is A point, which is 5, 3. Then we have the second coordinate, that is negative 3, 2. Now, negative 3 means x is negative, right? X is negative 3 and 2 is positive. So what we do, we join negative 3 of x and 2 of y, and this point gives us B. We will write the coordinate negative 3, 2 over here. Okay. Then we have got C coordinate, which is minus 5, minus 4. First, let's see which quadrant it exists in. Both are negative, so it will exist in the third quadrant, right? Now, minus 5 is on the x and minus 4 is on the y. So let's join them. That means we have got this point as our C. We get minus 5 comma minus 4, right? And the last point D, which is 2 comma minus 6. Now 2 is X and minus 6 is Y. So joining them over here gives us a point like this. And we write 2 comma minus 6. So basically in this question, they had covered 4 points from all the 4 quadrants, right? So what did we do? We actually made the Cartesian plane from the scratch and plotted the points, right? Now, let's move on to the second question. 3 vertices of triangle ABC are A, B, C. We are given the coordinates. Plot these points on a graph paper and calculate the area of triangle ABC. Now, see, this question has moved on not just from plotting, but they want us to calculate the area. Due to such existence of such questions, it is important to cover these questions apart from NCERT and Exemplar also, because these questions are not covered in these books, but in extra books, and these kind of questions certainly appear in your school exams. Okay. So now I'll be making the Cartesian plane quickly. Okay. In detail, I had already taught in the previous question. So making the x-axis over here, y-axis over here, when slightly tilted, need to redo. Okay, right. So now we will quickly mark everything. X, O, X dash, Y, O, and Y dash, right? Now, the points are very shorter points, 1, 4, minus 2, 2, 3, and 2, right? So it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. See, one more thing over here, when you will be doing such questions in your exams, do not make too many points when the question is not taking the points too further. What I mean to say is the question just confines to 1, 2, 3, 4, those kind of points. So do not try to extend your Cartesian plane on x-axis or on y-axis up till 10 points. There is no point wasting time. Just keep it around the coordinates they have asked, and that is all is required. Okay, now let's start marking them. The first point A is 1, 4. So 1 is here on the x and 4 is on the y. So this is where we get our A. Now in this question, I am not making those dotted lines to connect the points because we have to make a triangle eventually. So those dotted lines do not look neat over here. And moreover, by now, we actually need to understand these were just the helping lines, but they are actually not required. Okay. So we have got the first point A as 1, 4. Then we need B, which is minus 2, 2. Now, minus 2 is on the x and 2 is on the y. So positive y, that means we get the point in the second quadrant, right? This is B and writing down its coordinates. The last is C, which is 3, 2. So we have it again in the first quadrant, C over here, right? We got all the 3 points. Now, we need to form a triangle by joining them. Okay, so let's join them. And here we got a triangle, right? But the question isn't over yet. The question says, plot these points on the graph paper, which we are done, and calculate the area of triangle ABC. Now, we need to calculate the area. First of all, what is the formula for the area of the triangle? That is half times base times height, right? So let's write down over here. Area of a triangle equals half times base times height, right? Now, what is the length of base and what is the length of height over here? That is what we need to understand majorly. The base, as we can see from the figure, is BC, right? So what is the length over here? How do you understand that from the Cartesian plane? It starts at -2 and it ends at 3 on the x-axis. So this is your length of the base. Now, how many units it is? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But this is very shorter distance for 5 units. We don't need to calculate it like that. What we actually need to understand, you have to do the distance like we had it from -2 till 3, right? That means 2 units on the left and 3 units on the right together make it 5 units. So your base is basically 5 units, right? So base comes out to be 5 over here, right? And now talking about the height. Okay, when we talk about the height means we have to understand how much height it has occupied with respect to y-axis. So when we are talking about height, it is this much distance, that is the height in this triangle. Now, the base passes 2 units on the y and the vertex of the triangle is up till 4. That means the height is just 2 units over here. This is 2 units, right? Because the height is captured from 4, the vertex, and 2 from the base. So the gap is just 2 units, right? So now we write 2 over here. Now 2 and 2 got cancelled. We are just left with 5. But in this question, in Cartesian plane, in coordinate geometry, we do not get any units. The unit, since we are calculating the area, is going to be 5 square units. Because every unit is making a dimension, right? That is why when we are talking about the area, we are multiplying 2 dimensions and hence the area comes in square units. Okay. Now, moving on with the next question. The 3 vertices of a square ABCD are A, B, D. We are given A, B, and D for a square ABCD. Plot these points on a graph paper and hence find coordinates of C. Okay, we are supposed to plot, we are supposed to find the coordinates of C, and after that, find the area of the square as well. Okay, the question is quite similar to the previous one because we have to plot, we have to find the area as well. The only different thing over here is that we need to find another coordinate missing from the shape, right? So let's start first making the Cartesian plane. Okay, now let's mark everything. X dash, O, X, Y dash, O, and sorry, it was not supposed to be Y dash on top, but Y dash comes in bottom. Okay, now again, just see the coordinates. There are 3, 2, -3, 3, and all that. That is shorter distances on the grid. So we will also not go much beyond 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3, -1, -2, and -3. Right? So let's start plotting. A coordinate is 3 and 2. That means it comes out over here. And do always write the coordinates when you mark that. The name of the coordinate as well as abscissa and the ordinate also. Okay. Then we get B, which is -2, 2. So here we have B, and this is -2 and 2. The next thing we have is D, which is -3 and 3, right? -3 and 3 means what do we have over here? 3, 2, -2, 2, and then we have -3, 3. It certainly seems that I have actually written the coordinate wrong over here, right? Because if I write -3, 3, it will appear over here. It shouldn't be like this, but It should have been -3 and -3. Okay, we are talking about a square over here. So it is supposed to be, yeah, this coordinate is supposed to be -2 and -3. That means D is over here, which is -2 and -3. Okay. Now, it's a square. That means the length and the width, they are supposed to be same, right? So if we join them like this, over here like that, then we can see the length and the width, they all are coming for 5 units, right? It is also 5 over here, 5 units. And the length, the height is also coming as 5 units, right? That means we can easily figure out what is going to be our C vertex. That is C coordinates for the C. It's going to be over here at 3 -3 because this is going to be, if you join now, see what happens. When we are joining this point, what we are getting, we form a square because this height is again 5 units and this length is also 5 units, right? So we get a square, right? Now, what does that mean? It means we have got the C vertex, C equals 3 comma -3, right? We plotted, we found C. Now, the next thing is area of square. So we had already figured out what is the length of each side of a square, and therefore area is going to be, first write down the formula, okay, side times side, and now the value 5 times 5, hence it is 25 square units. This is the area of the square. Now, in this video, we understood how to plot, how to make the Cartesian plane, how to plot the points. Then we actually did making a triangle in the Cartesian grid, finding its area. And in the last question, we made a square on the grid, found one of the missing coordinates, and again calculated its area. So now we have covered each and everything with respect to coordinate geometry of class 9th. Do practice all the questions, and in case you have any doubts, you can always comment below and you will get a quick answer. Happy learning!